Okay, y'all. So when I was younger, I was definitely that friend that like always had their camera out. I was recording everything. I'm taking pictures of everybody. I was even going home and editing the pictures of everybody. And I feel like I kept it up all the way into like college, right? Like I'm the friend that's documented everything. I got all the footage. I got Google Drives full of footage, okay, of my friends. My Instagram stories used to be hella long because I was the documentarian type friend. Like I'm documenting everything. However, when the camera has to be on me, it's a little bit harder. I struggle with that quite a bit. I get a little bit nervous. Documenting myself comes with a few challenges, namely my fear of being perceived or aversion to being perceived, however you want to word it, coupled up with the fact that like I just be living life. Like I literally just be living life. I love to be in the moment, so I struggle, I think, to capture the content that I want or like need properly, and I have been running into that issue the past few weeks. So my intention was to demonstrate to y'all like how I work with that weekly planner that I showed you all in the last video. And if you haven't seen that video, it'll be linked somewhere on the screen, I'm sure. It's somewhere around here, but it will also be linked in the bio and it'll be at the end of this video as well. However, I do recommend you go back and watch that before you watch this video, just so you have a little bit more context about what's going on over here on my page, on my channel, and with my series Pushing 30. With that being said, I've been doing a lot of stuff this week, or the past few weeks really, but I haven't been capturing a ton of content, or even I would say maybe like the level of content that I want to give to you all. I know that this is something that a lot of people can relate to, especially if you want to be a content creator or if you're a person that just creates content in general. Sometimes it doesn't, like the reality doesn't always match up with what we saw or envisioned, right? And I'm running into that right now in terms of what my second video would look like, which as you're watching now, this is not at all what I had planned, right? I'm in the process of learning to show up for myself and figuring out what that looks like. I'm kind of gonna take you guys on 3 of the things that I learned just in this short process about showing up for myself. And lesson 1 is use what you have. So I may not have got exactly what I intended or envisioned for this second video, but I got enough that I can choose to show up for myself and show up for you guys and still give you hopefully what you all think is a great video. So let's take a look at the past few weeks of my life and see what are some other ways that I've been showing up for myself just in this journey and in this process. As you all know, Pushing 30 is about becoming the woman that I envision, that I dream of before I turn 30 years old on my golden birthday, March 30th, 2027. And I want to show you guys how I've been going about changing my life a little bit the past few weeks and what that looks like when working with that weekly planner. Yeah, I'm at work looking crazy. Don't mind me. Today's been a long day. I had to get up to work on these flower arches. For this event that I'm doing tomorrow. Like I'm doing an installation on the outside of the event. And I'll be honest with y'all, I'm winging it, okay? Just a little bit. But I'm so excited. I feel like it's gonna come out good. But the bad part is that I have to be there tomorrow at like 9 to set up. And I'm supposed to work at 11 tomorrow. Of course, I've been working a lot, and not a lot to the point that it feels like too much, but enough that I can do the things that I would like to do. I don't really see my job as work almost. Like, I know that it's work, and it sometimes dealing with customers does feel like work, but I'm a framer, so I professionally frame pictures or photos and artwork, which can look very different each day, but all around, most days I'm just doing the same thing. But working with my hands for me is something that I need to do in order to shut my brain off a little bit, or at least the thinking part that's constantly dreaming, thinking, trying to figure this out, trying to figure that out, da 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 da. When I get to work with my hands, I feel like I'm shifting sides, right? I'm working with a different part of my brain. I can quiet down some of the noise and focus on what is at hand and like producing something that our customers will really, really love. And I get a lot of joy out of that. It also teaches me to pay attention to detail. My job requires me to be very detail oriented to make sure that I'm giving the best product back to the customer. I feel like it's a skill that I'm honing for the future. Also, I just love being able to look at other people's artwork and prints and the things that they are taking into their home that they feel express themselves, or even that they're gifting to someone else. I get a lot of joy out of that. So I don't make a lot of money. I get a lot of joy from my job, and it calms me. Like I said, it doesn't feel like work. I'm never like, I have to go into work and drained about the actual physical work that I have to do. If I'm ever like, I have to go into work, it's because I really would like to be doing something else or something different, but it's never the actual job or the work that I have to do. I have also been painting. You guys can see that I started a new painting. I am very much on a Saturn wave right now. If you guys see my tattoo, I'll put a picture because it's kind of hard to turn. I don't know, this is just a piece that I have in my head that I'm trying to get out. It's also just a piece of getting back into the swing of painting. Painting is also another one of those things that calms me down and quiets my mind. Another thing that I've been doing is I bought a class pass to take yoga, like unlimited yoga classes for a month. It's really close to my house, so I've been like taking advantage of that and going to yoga, which has been really fun. I also go to do the sound baths. It really helps me to practice stillness and mindfulness and like slowing down and like getting into my body. I think that I have a tendency to kind of just move through each day without consideration of my body and like what it's doing or what it feels like. I wanted to do something physical that allowed me to, again, be present inside of my body and take more account of how it's feeling in a slow and meditative way. I think my goal for the rest of the year is to pick something each month to focus on, to do physically, like a little hobby. I feel like I live a very sedentary lifestyle, and so I need to get back into movement. And yoga was the introduction to that because I do love to do yoga. I used to do it a bit more consistently where I would do yoga each morning. It's just kind of hard to do it at home because I have dogs and so their hair is all over the floor, and that tends to be a deterrent for me, which is why I opted for the studio route, which I really enjoyed. But we'll figure it out. I do want to start back going to the gym, but I've also been looking for like dance studios to rent out. And I know y'all like, Squirrel, why are you renting a dance studio instead of going to dance class? But it's because I used to take dance classes in middle school. I feel like I don't necessarily want somebody to teach me how to dance. I feel like I need to let my body do what it wants to do in a safe space and like just kind of flow with it. I have a couple songs that I love to kind of fake choreograph when I listen to them at nighttime. And I don't know, I just feel like my body wants me to get that out. So I don't know, I just want to spend some time letting my body be free instead of maybe going to a choreographed dance class. Additionally, I did have a job interview for a marketing specialist role, and I made it to the second interview. However, they decided to go with a different candidate. But I am genuinely, like, all in all, I am very okay with that, because after the second interview, hey y'all, I'm very hot, and I turned the air off so y'all can hear me. And my wig is, this is how hot it is out here. I just walked out of an interview, as you can see. Not walked out, but like I just left the interview. Look at me, I'm sweating. I just left the interview, and I think it was a good interview, but the position does sound very involved and intense, which isn't a problem. It's work that I can do. But I'm also like, I'm giving it to God. Lord says this is something I'm supposed to be doing, then I'll keep going through the process. But I'm also not like, oh my God, I need this position, you know, like I'm okay if I don't get it. But I just wanted to come tell y'all that I went to a job interview today. Whew, I'm hot. All right, I gotta go, besties. It's hot. I need to turn my air on. I was already in the mindset of like, if it's for me, I'll do it. If it's not, I won't get it. So it doesn't matter. But after the second interview, it felt like the position was more project management, but it was less of like the creative thinking, which is really what I would rather be in a position doing. So I had decided for myself personally, like after the second interview, that it really wasn't for me. My mom always says, it's not just that they're interviewing me, I'm also interviewing them, right? So getting clarity on like the types of positions and roles that are available in the marketing job market, and knowing what I do and don't want to do, I think is very important for my future in terms of just like my own creative career, whether that looks like me being in a 9-to-5 at some point or being full-time creative entrepreneur like I want to. But I think that it is good practice. It's good networking, getting to know people, getting to know, like I said, the roles and positions that are in the market. But that was just one thing that just wasn't for me, and it was okay. Something else that I have been doing, I told you guys about my creative residency. I spent some time reading Rick Rubin's The Creative Way and taking notes. That's the book that I'm focusing on, and I'm going to add back in The Artist's Way, probably beginning of September. But I just always find it so interesting when reading these books, because a lot of the times the things that they're saying or the things that they're thinking about are things that I've already thought about. I'm going to create a different video where I speak specifically to the creative residency, and I'm going to tell you guys some of my thoughts specifically about the Rick Rubin Creative Act. I feel like I've had a pretty productive past few weeks, and I was originally beating myself up about the fact that like I wasn't being as consistent as I wanted to in terms of getting content. But to be honest, I really do see it as a learning curve. I see it as a growth moment. It's definitely an opportunity. I'm still getting used to recording myself. I'm still getting used to talking to a camera. The whole idea of all of this is still like me being the one doing this versus me telling people how to do it or when to do it and why to do it. This is a big shift. So I am giving myself the grace that I need to grow on this journey. I'm not going to continue to beat myself up about it. And I really wasn't even being super hard on myself. It was just one of those things where it was like, damn, Takora, like, come on, like, get it together, you know? Which I am, and I will. I also do see it as a bit of a reminder that planning really is key. I emphasize this when I talk to other people and clients, but I have a really bad habit of not taking my own advice. But this is one of those moments where it's like, okay, I'm a person that only has to learn her lesson one time, right? Lesson learned. I cannot be lax in my planning, which I already knew, but I know for real, like I cannot be lax in my planning process just to save myself the headache. Like I am not bigger than the program. I can't, just like I said to other people, I have to sit down and be diligent about my planning process and using that to execute in order to achieve what I want to achieve. Although I was feeling a little down about like not sticking to my personal deadline, a really big way that I've shown up for myself in the past couple of weeks is choosing joy. And I talked about that a little bit with like doing the yoga and like how even my work brings me joy. But like, I think a key part of showing up for yourself is choosing joy. I'm gonna say it again. I feel like a really big part of showing up for yourself is choosing joy. And one of the ways that I chose joy this month was I went to see my favorite K-pop group, ATEEZ. I am an 18E. I've been 18E for about, I want to say like 6-ish months now, maybe going on 7. So I'm very new to this, but I'm very true to this. I took 2 of my best friends. We went to Arizona and I got to see ATEEZ perform. I had a blast. I'm talking about a time. I was so happy sitting in that seat, even though like I did it on a budget. Cause again, the bank is, it ain't banking right now, but I had this plan for months. So I decided that I was gonna do this months ago, but I did it in a way that I wasn't gonna feel guilty about spending the money. I found the cheapest way that I could make everything work. And then I'm also really grateful to have friends. Ooh, I got a little misty-eyed there. I'm really grateful to have friends who like support me in doing not only things that like I need to do, but like they support me in like my joy and my happiness, and like doing things that just make me happy or that I want to do. And so we all pitch in, we all pull in together. We got our Airbnb, we got the rental car. I think I got lucky with my flight. I had an unsuspecting flight credit from 2022 that I didn't even realize was there. So I spent $47, just literally $47 of like my own money right now to get my flight to and from Glendale, Arizona, or well, Phoenix, Arizona. And I can't give that to anybody but God, because I don't even know where that flight credit came from, y'all. I literally do not remember ever having planned that trip, but I got lucky. I bought the tickets with Afterpay. We got they were like pretty cheap seats. I want to say like roughly like $150. Like I said, I bought them with Afterpay. I love me some Afterpay, Klarna, etc. If I can pay it down, I'd rather just pay it down. Paying big lump sums of money, just sometimes it just hurt, you know, like it hurts. And so if I can, you know, kick you a little something here and there, I'd rather do that. I really did not spend a ton for this trip. I might have splurged just a little bit buying merch out the K-pop store. I might have went a little crazy in there. I'm making up for it in that frame shop, okay? I'm having fun over here, y'all. I love having a little hobby. I love collecting things that kind of speak to my hobbies. I have like stuff everywhere in my house. I'm really glad that I did that. I am really big on doing what I want to do and doing what makes me happy. And so that was just one of those moments where I feel like I experienced that. Even going to see them, I think really helped me because they inspired me a lot. Knowing like the background of the group and the journey that they've been on for the past 8 years. And even though I wasn't like day one and seeing like the whole journey, they have so much content. One thing that, this is a sidebar, little tangent. One thing that I'm noticing about K-pop is like they're heavy on the content, okay? They're flooding you back to back to back to back, all platforms. You're gonna see these groups, right? And I think that music in the States, particular musicians could lean into this. I think that Megan Thee Stallion leans into this a little bit, where it's like content, but not in the sense of like always promoting the music. I think that that's how you really build the fan base. It's like giving them a chance to get to know you and like learn who you are. And I think that K-pop groups do that really well, because I know way too much about these 8 men from Korea right now, but it's cool because their story and what I've learned, I think has inspired me a bit as I am also on this journey of chasing my dream and becoming who I want to be. And that's, I think, one of the key reasons that I really love being a teenie and did resonate with the group. In addition to the fact that the songs are bops, okay? The songs hit. I'm gonna put a little playlist probably in the bio. Look. Being around my friends, I feel like injected me with a little bit of energy and like that push that you need, you know, that little life is worth living again. You know, the little memes, that was really me. Not, you know, hold on, not to say the life wasn't worth living. It's just the idea that like being able to be around my friends and see them sometimes just injects you with a little bit more, what am I trying to say?
I'm finding it.
It fills my cup. Being around my friends fills my cup. And so I'm glad that I got to pour a little bit into myself in that way and hopefully pour into them. And I'm glad that they poured into me by coming to see this group of 8 Korean men that they have never seen before in their life. All of that to say, I want this video to serve as a reminder to everyone to show up for yourself this week. Show up for yourself this month, or well, next month. Show up for yourself, period. I think that sometimes it can be hard when we're getting down on ourselves, you know, when life is lifing. It can be hard to continue to show up for ourselves. Sometimes we don't know how. And so hopefully this video kind of gives you some hints. Lesson 1, use whatever you have. Whatever you're trying to do, just use what you have, okay? It won't be perfect, it might not be perfect, that's okay. Lesson 2, choose joy. Find little ways to choose joy. It doesn't have to be as big as going to a concert. It can be something as simple as buying a little candy bar, buying your favorite snack. It could be cuddling under the cover watching your favorite movie. It could be sitting in the sun if you just need sunlight. Even when you may feel like you're undeserving, unwilling, or unable, decide to show up for yourself and choose joy even in the smallest of ways, because that's the whole point of being in this skin suit on this floating rock. It's joy. It's to live life. It's to experience life to the full extent. And the presence of joy doesn't always have to mean the absence of sadness or frustration or disappointment. I think a lot of times, like, the beauty of life is that these things can coexist, right? So life might be life and things might not be perfect. You might be feeling a way about this, that, and the third, but like in the midst of all of that, choose joy. Don't take the ability to choose joy for yourself lightly. That's the whole point of us being here. That's the point of this human experience, is to experience the breadth and the depth of these emotions. And I feel like joy is just one of the ones that it makes it all worth it. 3, this is the one for me, and this is why we have the video today. Just do the thing, whether it feels imperfect, whether it feels scary. Just do the thing, because you deserve to have you show up for yourself. Sometimes we make it a little bit harder than it has to be because it feels imperfect or it feels scary or we want it to be right. But sometimes we just need to do the thing. Like, sometimes showing up for yourself is as simple as showing up. So just show up. You can show up for everybody else, your mama, your cousin, your brother, your sister, your da-da-da-da. You can show up for you. If you didn't learn anything else in this video, if you've made it this far, show up for you. You deserve that. You deserve to show up for yourself. This video is an example of me showing up for myself. I'm also showing up for y'all, because before I had the grand idea to just sit here and run my mouth, I was like, I don't know what the video is gonna be because everything's so disjointed and I didn't do this and I didn't do that. But used what I had and showed up, okay? So again, I say thank you for watching. I'm so glad you're here. Shout out to everybody that kept me accountable and was like, Zakora, where's the video? Where's the video? I'm watching, I'm tuned in. I love it, I see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I see you, I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Let me know in the comments, what are you doing this week to show up for yourself? And what are some ways that you've been choosing joy lately? I would love to know. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts, maybe get some ideas, get some inspo. Thanks.